Kuhn is the fullback with the first and goal. Kuhn gets the ball. Pyle trying to get his way in for the touchdown. What a great second effort. Here comes the. Y'all don't really want it like that. Here comes the. Y'all don't really want it like that. I said so. I keep big bills up in my heart on the dirty like blood. So ain't got no twist in my head, but I'm still dreadful.
Wolf Pack, what is going on? It's your boy, the Wolf of Roto Street, rotostreetjournal.com. We breed and feed you fantasy wolves here with your Week 15 preview. You know it, the best time of the year. Cheer is in the air. It's getting colder out there. Presents under the tree. Ugly sweaters on. None of that matters because it's the fantasy football playoffs, baby. Let's go. You probably could tell I got a little extra buzz in my step, and it's not because I haven't even taken a sip yet. It's because the fantasy playoffs truly are the most exciting time of the year, filled with plenty of heartbreak, and I apologize in advance if I help contribute to any of that heartbreak. If I miss any of these questions for you, I'll do my damn best to not get those questions on in. But Wolfpack, it's the best time of the year. You know it. We got a good game for Thursday Night Football here, too, with the 49ers and Seahawks, a good divisional clash. Nothing could be better than this. Let's go, Wolfpack. I don't want to waste any time because we already have 20 questions live in this chat. Hopefully, you get yours on in there. I'll get through them all. Of course, as always, the super chat is greatly appreciated. Support your boy, and you can cut the line. If you have a Thursday Night Football crunch that you just got to get in there, make sure to just toss a few bucks. It will help your boys around this Christmas time, Christmas spirit, baby. We'll go such a long way. It brings you good luck, too. But no, so appreciate it. If you can't do that, that thumbs up button also is so greatly appreciated. It helps us get out to more people. Wolfpack, please do consider hitting that and helping us get out to more people and supporting the pack. And right off the top, before we can even get into this Thursday Night Football game, my man Steven Drake's consistently supporting your boy. It is not on Notion. It is so appreciated, man. Thank you so much, Steven. I greatly appreciate it. Should you play Aiyuk tonight? You already have CMC, or should you flex Mostert, Jamal, or Strong if he starts? Half PPR, great question, Steven Drakes. I'm running through some Aiyuk decisions myself. I have a bye in my main league, but I also have my Holy Cross boys, my college league, going tonight, and I'm facing CMC. I'm facing Kittle. I'm facing Ken Walker, and I have to decide on, do I play Brandon Aiyuk? So let's dig into a little research I did to help me make this decision. And I'll just, spoiler, I'm putting Aiyuk in there. I had between Aiyuk, I had between him, Donta Foreman, or Gabe Davis. And I'm going Aiyuk tonight without Deebo Samuel in the lineup. So this is just kind of jumping ahead for us, Steven Drake. We're going to preview Brandon Aiyuk in depth. So thank you so much. So greatly appreciate it for your support. In the 8 games, Brandon Aiyuk has played without Deebo Samuel. So he's got 34 games with Deebo, 8 without him. He averages 15.38 PPR points per game, seeing 5 receptions, over 5 receptions on average, nearly 8 targets a game, nearly 60 yards a game, and scoring 8 touchdowns in those 8 games. So he becomes a much more viable scoring threat. He's only had 1 such game this year without Deebo Samuel. And how did he do? 20.1 PPR fantasy points. Now, obviously, 1 game, small sample size, but with 8 games, he averages 3 points more than he does with Deebo in the lineup. Pretty good, solid sample size there. If any of you remember his rookie year, he went ballistic for a few games without Deebo and George Kittle in the lineup. He was the wide receiver 3, in fact, behind only Tyreek Hill and Devonta Adams. So we know the ceiling is massive. A little bit capped with you have Brock Purdy, but Purdy, honestly, I mean, you guys know, if you've been watching him, the guy has some moxie. He's playing well. I honestly don't see it as this steep downgrade below Jimmy Garoppolo. Yeah, in terms of experience and playoff ceiling, maybe a little bit more capped, but I really like what this Purdy kid is showing. And Seattle, the one risk, and this is the one reason, Steven, I'm a little bit nervous. We know Woolen, that cornerback, the rookie, he has been an absolute monster. Sauce Gardner was not in the rookie discussion, and clearly he's running away with the defensive rookie of the year. But right behind him is the Seattle cornerback. He's been a beast. I don't know if they shadow him. They do move around Brandon Aiyuk quite well in the lineup, and especially when Deebo's out. I think this is a spot you have to play the guy. He hasn't been below 9 points in since week 7, and has a couple good, solid blow-up games in that stretch run as well. So I feel really solid about Brandon Aiyuk. Again, those splits without Deebo, he's been much better. +3 overall in those 8 games, but really that monster earlier in the year as well. So I really like Aiyuk tonight. I'm putting him in. He's a top 20 wide receiver play for me this week. Really big fan of Aiyuk. So thank you for asking that one, Steven. It definitely, was going to be covered anyways, but your support means the world. In comparison to most, we got Jeff Wilson potentially playing a snowy, gross day. Like maybe that's more of a run game. Jamal Williams, yeah, the touchdowns are nice, but when he doesn't score, we've seen it last week. I mean, it is ugly when he doesn't score. So a big risk there. And Strong, it's just, if he starts, I don't think he starts. I think Damien Harris plays. I think even if Harris doesn't play, we'd see Kevin Harris getting the start. And I think Strong will have a role. We're going to talk about him a little bit later as one of my favorite higher, lower Hail Marys at the running back position, but not even close to the conversation with Brandon Aiyuk. So I'm going Aiyuk tonight. I'm going him over Donta Foreman. Like I said, Donta Foreman and Gabe Davis myself. And yes, you do have some good options here, but I'm still rolling Aiyuk over those 3. Let me know how it goes. I mean, we'll find out. Let me know if you decide to go with me tonight, Steven. But we're riding the Aiyuk train, baby. Cannot wait. Let's go. Early fireworks. Let's shoot them off, baby, tonight. Oh, I can't wait. Come on, Aiyuk. Let's go. Thank you again so much, Steven Drakes, for your support of the show. And if you want to super chat again, you can cut that line, get ahead of everybody else, beat the news. But ultimately, a free way to help us out. Over 30 already here right from the kickoff. Let's go. Love to see it. Give us that thumbs up button. Please consider doing so. If you enjoy the show, it does truly help us get out to more people and continue to grow the pack. We're 20 away now from 3K. We are so close. We'll pack every week. It seems like we get another 10, 20, 30 of you. It's been awesome. So if you like the show, if you're new around here, please do consider hitting that sub button. We'll be answering your questions live multiple times a week. All right, enough of the promotions. Let's dive in to the content. And again, feel free to jump that line with a super chat. I saw my man Campanelli moderating down there. Love to see you, Campanelli. Good to see you as always. Let's dive in. 49ers at Seahawks. Quick preview of the game. If you like to bet, here's my take on it. I think I'm going to take the 49ers. I don't know that they absolutely smash the Seahawks. I do think they keep it semi-close, but 3.5, just having to have 4 points or more. I think this 49ers team is rolling, even without Deebo. Now, I get it. They're only 2-8-1 against the spread against Seattle in their last 11 games. The Seahawks, meanwhile, are 8-2-2 against the spread in their last 12 Thursday contests. So history would be on the Seahawks side. They are the home team. I really think this 49ers team is special, and they're peaking at the right time, though. I wouldn't be shocked to see a touchdown, maybe even 10-point win here. I do think points will be scored. So that 43 over under, short week Thursday night. Sometimes that does lead to lower scoring games. I don't buy it here. The Seahawks are 6th in the NFL in scoring. They're averaging 26.3 points per game. They have 24 in 6 of their last 7 games. And this is a Seahawks defense that could limit that. We'll see. But I think they'll do their part in terms of I definitely expect the 49ers to put up about 24 to 30 points. I could see the Seahawks getting 20 or more. So I think that 43, not unreasonable for this game to hit with 2 good offenses, despite the good defensive game for the 49ers. The one risk would be, does the clock just get bled and bled and bled? Because Seahawks are the second worst deep run defense in the league. I think CMC is going to have no problem pounding it down their throat tonight. So if you have CMC, and I'm facing him. So I posted a little tweet tonight, like Sparta. Tonight we dine in hell, Brandon Aiyuk. We gotta really step up here as the underdogs. But we'll see. I think he's gonna go crazy. But you knew that was happening anyways. Great spot for CMC if you have him tonight. I will say, last point on this game though, stash Jordan Mason. Obviously, God forbid something happens to CMC. I have him in my main league where I have the bye. Obviously, I pray nothing happens to him, even though I'm facing him in leagues. Like, you never want to see it. But Jordan Mason has been really solid. 50 yards in back-to-back games on limited carries, over 5 yards a pop on the year. Looks really like a great fit. He's only 12% rostered right now. If something did happen to CMC, you'd beat the rush. He could be a smash play as the featured back in a Shanahan offense. He's the clear-cut number 2, TDP inactive. It's definitely Jordan Mason here. So definitely a stash ahead of this game, especially if you're on a bye week. Why not cut your kicker, get a little handcuff action going here? And Purdy is playing tonight, just to make sure everybody is aware of that. The one other question, it's up in the title here. Should you start Ken Walker? That's the one other really big name tonight that I can imagine we're getting a lot of questions in on. So let me just give you my quick spiel on him. Of course, I'll hit your specific questions in a little bit, about 35 minutes or so, just to make sure you're all clear. I'm going to go through some content for you real quick. But Ken Walker, you need a take on him. Let me tell you what I think. I'm plus 12 VCR. I have him at running back 17. I'm shocked. He's nearly the running back 30, the rankings right now. This guy, since taking over the backfield, 15, 18, 29, 12, 26, 10, 16 points. And then last time 4, but he got hurt. He got knocked out early. He had been a top 24 running back in every single game. He had been the main back, and he had been top 10 in over half of those games. I mean, he is an absolute beast. They started incorporating him more in the passing game. Practiced in full. There's no injury concerns coming into this game. Everybody's hurt at this point of the year. So when you get a full designation, that's a great sign. So I think we're going to get a full 100% Ken Walker. The bigger question is, okay, the 49ers run D, the fewest points allowed to running backs by a long stretch, only 13 points allowed to the running back position right now. But they just have faced kind of weak competition. I'm not overly terrified of this run D. Sure, they've only allowed 4 running backs to top 10 fantasy points. Khalil Herbert, 10. Melvin Gordon, 14. C-Mac had nearly 20 points. And then James Conner, 12.4. And those are that's how you can tell. They just have not faced the most amazing competition. They do have unbelievable linebackers and a good D-line, but they're thin up front. Some injuries coming into this week here. So I definitely think, that floor is pretty nice for Ken Walker, given what we've seen. When he's stayed healthy again, he's had double digits at every single game. He's been a top 24 running back in every single game. Nice baked-in floor. So how is he outside the top 29 running backs? It makes no sense to me. So running back 17 for me. Of course, if you have some pretty good options, like Zonovan Knight versus Ken Walker, things like that can get a little tricky here. But I am probably rolling my stud. I love that player. I think he's a beast. And I do think he can do a little bit of damage here on the 49ers. So most cases, I'm going to say Ken Walker, getting that out up front here for you guys. Wanted to make sure that's clear. If you have any other questions about this game, again, I do encourage that super chat. We should be able to get through all the questions, but I just want to make sure I get to any Thursday night football ones about anything of that nature. So do consider that button if you want to cut the line, just like Lucius just did. Thank you so much for the support, Lucius. Go Aiyuk or Pittman this week. Thank you. Oh, that's a brutal one, Lucius. They are truly my wide receiver 20 and wide receiver 21. But which one do I have higher? I'm not even kidding you. That's genuinely how they shake out. I do have Aiyuk at 20 and Michael Pittman at 21, though. The matchup's a bit better for Pittman. The best spot for outside wide receivers, in fact, is facing the Minnesota Vikings. I'm high on Pittman this week. No doubt about it. He's seen 8+ targets in 8 of his 13 games. I mean, he's going to be in a really good spot this week. I still want to roll Aiyuk just again for those splits without Deebo Samuel in the lineup. He's averaged over 15 points per game. He had 20 points in his one game without Deebo this year. It is a tough matchup. Seahawks do have a good secondary, especially that number 1 corner, that rookie. He has been shockingly good this year. But I still they move Aiyuk around enough, especially when Deebo's out of the lineup. I think a big play is all you need, is just one big one to open up the game, and I wouldn't be shocked to see that happen early, see some fireworks right off the bat. So I'm going Aiyuk, but like I said, it is 20 versus 21. It couldn't be any closer for me. They both have great upside cases. I like both of these options, Lucius. But if it's one or the other, very slightly, I'm going Brandon Aiyuk tonight. Good luck, Lucius. Thank you so much for your support of the show. It's so greatly appreciated. Let's continue diving in. As Fatty Mateo says, this is what we play for, boys. This is the best time of the year. So I'm going to rip through some quick news and notes across the various positions here. There's actually not a ton of it, so we're going to get through this quick. We're going to get right into your questions very, very shortly, Wolfpack. So I appreciate your patience, and I do appreciate any support from you guys. That thumbs up button, like I said, it does truly help us. Wouldn't keep saying it if it didn't. Mike White was limited, but he is expected. Said he has no doubt he's going to be playing and coming off his worst game as a starter, but still wasn't even horrible. I love the toughness I saw. He was making some real nice throws despite those banged up ribs and had over 330 yards in his first 2 games of the year. Gets a Detroit defense giving up the most points to quarterbacks. Big fan of Mike White this week. Justin Fields practicing in full after the bye. There's an illness and there's some worry that he might miss. No, he's playing and he's locked into your lineup. We'll talk a bit more about him. Lamar Jackson not playing in Baltimore's Week 15 game as expected, but we do have Tyler Huntley cleared from concussion protocol. I know we disappointed last week. I'd have a hard time going back myself after he almost cost me a playoff spot. I thankfully pulled that one out. Mike Williams coming through for me on Sunday Night Football, baby. But Tyler Huntley, I still think he's in a really good spot. He's my Hail Mary quarterback of the week. We're going to talk about more details why in a little bit. But I wouldn't have top 18 quarterback for me. We'll see. If you're in a super flex league, I would go check if Tyler Huntley got dropped by a frustrated owner. And then Russell Wilson, he returned to Broncos practice in a limited capacity. Who gives a shit? If you're trusting Russell Wilson at this point, you do not deserve to win your playoff game, even if he's coming off his best game of the season. Only 3 quick running back notes. Saquon Barkley not on the Week 15 injury report. They'll expect his typical monster workload. He has been trending down lately, but it's still a top 12 running back play. No doubt about that in my mind. Ramondre Stevenson not practicing on Thursday. Meanwhile, Damien Harris did get onto the field, a limited practice, and I really like Damien Harris. We'll go into some details in higher, lower Hail Mary, why, but guy scored 15 touchdowns last year and he's about to be that lead back. And last but not least, Jeff Wilson, questionable for the Saturday night game against the Bills. We'll obviously be tracking that news for Saturday when we go live at Old Planters Brewing, baby. If you're local, get your ass over to Beverly, Massachusetts. Old Planters Brewing would be so cool to meet some of you, especially if I haven't already, but still would be a blast whether you're from out of town, wherever. Come on down, meet the Wolfpack if you can get there locally. It'd be so much fun. We'll watch all those 1 p.m. games, 4 p.m. It's going to be a blast of a day. They have such good beers there at Old Planters too. So if you can make it this Saturday live, we'll be live streaming it as well on Saturday at 11 a.m. We'll be live answering all your questions, getting you primed and ready. But if you can make it live, that'd be great. All righty, moving now to the wide receiver position. Before we do, we got a couple more super chats. The holiday season has some people in generous moods, and it is so greatly appreciated, Wolfpack. It truly does go such a long way for this. Wolf, you're an American icon and the best in the business. God bless. Captain Quint, you're a friggin' legend too. Man, I would do anything to get back up to Vermont and have one of those bachelor parties like we did that summer. That was a fucking awesome time. Thank you so much for the support. Please do let me know if you have a question, Captain Quint. I'd be happy to answer. I'll keep my eyes peeled in case anything comes in. But thank you so much for your kind words. Hopefully you're rolling to the playoffs. And Joe Lopez, $5 super chat coming in. Thanks so much, Joe. What can we do for you? Need wide receiver 2 and a flex in PPR. Walker, Swift, Jamal Williams, Foreman, Gibson, B. Robinson, Lazard, Zay Jones, Deontay, and Peoples-Jones. Whew. Joe, we got a bunch of options to sift through here. Thank you so much for the support again. Let's figure this one out. So I'm definitely going to go running back for the flex here. I don't love these receiver options. We'll pick out my favorite one because we have to for your wide receiver too. Let me just sift through these. I'm not going to lie, and this is a riskier one. I'm feeling Kenneth Walker here tonight. Running back 17 in my rankings. Get running back 29 these year. I don't get it. So most experts will probably tell you to sit him. You look at these other guys, Swift and Williams, like nibbling each other's cheese, and then you got Justin Jackson playing 30% of the snaps last week, seeing 8 targets, whatever it was. Don't love that. Foreman, nice 24 carries, but 14 went to Chuba, who outproduced him. He's always at risk of getting game flowed. I do like Brian Robinson a lot. He's probably the next closest for me to Kenneth Walker here. Love the matchup against the Giants. He seems like he's really getting his legs under him. Obviously, it very understandably came along slow after that crazy incident getting shot in the preseason. He seems to be getting better and better by the week, though. You love to see the recovery he's making. He's easy to root for. So if I wasn't going Kenneth Walker, I would probably be going Brian Robinson here. I'm going to fire up my stud, though. Like I said, Walker been a top 24 running back every single time he's made it through a game. The only time he wasn't, since he took over in week 5, the only other time he wasn't was because he got hurt. And he's off the injury report. He practiced in full. So I imagine he's going to be full and ready to go. The matchup's scary. I understand that. But they are thin on the D-line tonight. The Seahawks are. All it's going to take is one quick touchdown for Kenneth Walker, which he's been a monster at the stripe this year. They talked about elevating his receiving role. Got DJ Dallas banged up. Travis Homer looked like a bag of shit last week. Sorry if anybody played him on my recommendation. Walker's a beast. I'm trusting him. So I'm going to go Kenneth Walker for the flex here. In terms of the wide receiver position for you, Joe, Lazard, Zay, Deontay, Peoples-Jones, all in that, if you got to play him wide receiver 3 tier. So I hate that this is your wide receiver 2. Sorry, I don't mean to shit on anybody's team here. You're in the playoffs. Love to see it. Man, I think it comes down to probably Peoples-Jones or Zay Jones for me. And I don't want to give you a non-answer, but we do have to track the weather here for Saturday. There's rumored to be potentially 20 to 30 mile per hour winds in that Cleveland game. And Deshaun Watson has just looked pretty damn rusty. 12 targets, 8 catches, over 100 yards for Zay last time out. Love to see it. The guy can shoulder a true wide receiver 1 workload with Amari Cooper banged up. So as long as the weather's not too crazy, I'm going to go Peoples-Jones. If we do get reports, though, that this is just a hideous day, it's going to be tough to throw the rock, then Zay Jones is a pretty easy pivot for me. The guy's had double-digit targets in 4 of his last 5 weeks. We just saw 8 for 12, 80 yards and a score. He's been a beast for Trevor Lawrence, a really reliable option. A couple bad drops. Oh, yes, he lost Cup. Okay, that makes sense. I didn't mean to shit on your team. I promise you. I get it. I have some pretty rough lineups that did make it through, and we're decided some tough stuff here. But right now, I would say I'd go Walker and I'd go DPJ, pending the weather. If it's really hideous, then we're going to pivot to either. So I was going to say Deontay, but he'd be a little less affected by the weather. But I'd rather just go Zay Jones if that game's going to be hideous. If we're not going DPJ, let's go Zay. And Walker for me. And if you really hate that matchup, Brian Robinson's justifiable as well. But I'm going to go Walker. I'm going to go DPJ, weather pendant. I hope that helps, Joe. I hope I get it right for you. Thank you so much for your support of the show. It truly, all these super chats, guys, they go such a long way, and they're so greatly appreciated. So thank you so much for your support of the show. All righty, Wolfpack, let's continue forward with the wide receiver news. This was the most loaded news of the week. Tyreek Hill, not on the injury report. I know the weather's looking rough there. That's more so why I put him on there. Snow, 9 inches potentially with 20-mile-per-hour winds. That could get rough. And Tua just doesn't seem like a cold weather guy. He did tweet out, it snows in Alabama, guys. But I don't know. Tua feels a little sketchy too with this weather. You're still, how do you not play Tyreek Hill in your fantasy playoffs? You'd have to have some real damn good options. He's still a top 5 wide receiver for me, but it's not like the shoe-in, no-brainer. You don't even think about set and forget Tyreek Hill. It probably is, but I've seen some 10-team league questions where it's like, okay, we could at least consider it. T. Higgins, limited. Tyler Boyd, limited, but both expected to suit up on Sunday. Oh, boy. I know just saying his name is probably making a few you crawl under your skin after this last weekend. What a absolutely fucking dickhead play by Zach Taylor, putting him for a snap, then taking him out off the injury report. I swear, that deserves a fine. That's honestly misinformation. I don't know. We could go on rants and rants and rants for that. So I understand if you have a little hesitation, a little reservation to go back to T, I don't blame you. The matchup against the Bucs isn't that great anyways, and we know Jamar Chase is the alpha now that he's back. I still have T as a fringe top 20 guy. I'd have a really hard time benching him as long as he continues. I do want to see a full practice. I mean, that'd be really comforting. I could at least set and forget him and not talk again. But most likely T is going to be in my lineups, and I'm going to have to grin and bear the risk. I can't imagine they put us through this torture once again. So I'm going to go T. Tyler Boyd at this point, why would you even care? So he's expected to give it a go. He said he's going to, quote unquote, make it work. I hope you're not relying on Tyler Boyd at this point of the year. Amari Cooper is practicing despite that hip injury. It seems like he'll likely play. But remember, he was on a snap count. Kevin Stefanski said he's looking good. He's fighting through the injury. It just sounds like he's not at risk to miss it. But the fact that he's only has 6 catches, 82 yards in the first 2 games with Watson, 2 back-to-back duds. The entire offense is kind of stalling out right now. That could mean Watson finally finds his legs and gets this thing going. Maybe, certainly a possibility. But there's definitely a little more added risk to Cooper. Never mind the weather, as we had just alluded to, could get ugly there in Cleveland. So I've downgraded him a few spots, a little bit risky this week. But keep your eyes peeled on that. No Treylon Burks today in practice. That was a brutal hit he took last time out. So could be Chigo Konku could end up picking up the slack there like he just did last week. 6 targets, over 40 yards and a touchdown. I don't think we're going to see Treylon Burks. I think he's still a hold given how talented he is, but obviously this time of the year, if it's, you need the win, you need to scoop somebody and you need to cut him, like it's cuttable, but I still really love the player. And I'm surprised. Wasn't a guy I was super high on coming in the year. Cortland Sutton not practicing, nor there is Kendall Hinton, which means another good spot for Jerry Jeudy. A 3-touchdown performance last time out. Arizona, a porous secondary, especially the tight end. So Greg Dulcich's also in a great spot with all these weapons banged up. Both of them get pretty decent bumps because who else are you going to throw to? I mean, the ugliest game of the weekend, a Brett Ripien and Colt McCoy showdown. Whew, buckle up, folks. Get your popcorn ready for that. I mean, will we score a total of 20 points? We don't know quite yet, but I do think Jerry Jeudy and Dulcich are both very much in play this week. Corey Davis not practicing on Thursday. We'll talk about Eli Moore a little bit later, but Garrett Wilson, lock him into your top 12 wide receivers, an absolute smash. Eli Moore also in play. Thank you, Campanelli. I see a couple super chats have come in, so I'm just going to quickly remind you of a few more wide receivers. No practice for Deontay Johnson. This happened last week. No practice for Chase Claypool. You don't really give a shit about that. Brandon Cooks did practice, and actually, if no Nico Collins this week, he could end up being a viable play. when they're going to need to chase points. And Kadarius Toney is expected to return, as is Romeo Doubs, but would be tough to trust. Alrighty, Wolfpack. Let me make sure to get to some super chats. We got 3 on the list here. Again, thank you so much. The Christmas spirit is overflowing from you guys. So the pressure's on. The Wolf has to be at his best. Let's see what we got. Eduardo, you stashing Damien Williams and Eno to see they end up working the last few weeks? No. And thoughts on stashing Rashid Shaheed? Also, no, in my opinion. I mean, you might be in like a 16-teamer here, Eduardo, and maybe those guys are viable. And that's the case. Like maybe one of Damien or Eno emerge for New Orleans, but I don't see much viability, much upside to any of them, including Rashid Shaheed. Like none of these guys are ever going to be steady or consistent enough for you. So I'm trying to think of like a couple options that are out there in most leagues. Well, one, Jordan Mason tonight, only 12% rostered. I checked for him. Josh Kelly, 3% rostered right now. Handcuff Austin Eckler. If something happens to Eckler, we've seen Justin Jackson last year in your fantasy playoffs was the number 1 running back of week 16 with over 30 fantasy points. So Josh Kelly been the clear number 2. He's out there in almost every single league. Like I'd rather have him stashed on my bench, assuming he's out there. I'm trying to think of some of my other favorite potential stashes, some other handcuffs we've discussed. I mean, that Chestnut guy for the Titans. I mean, something happens to Derrick Henry. We now have Hilliard banged out, likely out for the year. Maybe that's something. I've seen Khalil Herbert dropped in a lot of leagues. I know he's probably, if you're asking about Damien and Eno, I bet Herbert's not out there for you. But those are some other options. I did talk about a bunch of handcuffs. Chris Moore out there in a ton of leagues, only 7% rostered, coming off a 10-catch, 120-yard day. I mean, big Chris Moore fan. Always, every time he gets used, he ends up performing quite well. So he's another guy I'd look at. I'm trying to think of any last names that pop to my mind as like a handcuff that people aren't really thinking of. I mean, Madison, I've seen a ton drop. But again, if you're asking about Damien and Eno, I'm guessing Madison's not out there. I really think Josh Kelly's probably the first one that comes to mind that's likely available in your league and likely well worth the roster spot. I'm just going to scan my bench. You know the one that I should mention here, if you're in Yahoo, Jeff Driskel, tight end eligible. We're going to talk about him a little bit later, but whether you're playing him or not, I would 100% want him on my rosters. I've seen McCole Hardman dropped in a ton of leagues as well. Maybe you go to like Dare or Rex because it does seem like Damian Pierce's injury is going to linger, so I'd rather have them. I'm just scanning here, see if there's anybody else. I mean, Ben Skoranek saw 9 targets from Baker Mayfield, so like, could he be a guy? Again, the guys you ask about, none of them intrigue me. So hopefully let me know, Eduardo, if any of those guys are out there. Let me know if any of that helps you out. Nicholas, half PPR, Walker, Najee, Etienne, Higgins, Watson, start 3. We got, let's see here. I'm going to go, these are all lumped into each other. I'm going to definitely lock in Christian Watson, the number 1 wide receiver since he took over as a starter across these last 4 weeks in points per game, nearly 25 points per game. Been insane. So he's one that I won't take questions on anymore. It's Christian Watson. Now we need 2 more to balance that one out. To me, Nicholas, I'm going to go, I think Kenneth, I feel pretty good. I know the matchup, again, for Kenneth Walker, really scary, but as I want to keep emphasizing, the floor has been really, really high with this guy all season since he took over. 15, 19, 29, 12, 28, 13, 17 PPR points. I know half PPR, so not far off, though, because it wasn't like he was catching a ton of balls to get there. Top 24 running back in all of those weeks I just cited. The only time since he took over in week 5 that he hasn't been a top 24 running back was when he got hurt against the Rams just a few weeks ago. So nice floor, great talent, good ceiling, a banged-up D-line for San Fran. They are still really damn good at the linebacking position, but I think Kenneth Walker is absolutely in play here. So I'm going to go Walker. I'm going to go Watson. Man, does it get tough from there. A little bit nervous about Etienne. He's been playing 80% of snaps. You love to see the workload, but you hate to see the production. And now he gets his toughest matchup in the last few weeks, facing off against Dallas. So I think I'm leaning Najee, a top 10 matchup for running backs. He's looked a lot better since that plate got removed from his foot. Go figure. I mean, not uncomfortable playing with a plate in your foot probably. And just a nice baked-in floor, 12, 10, 9, 10, 26, 10, 10, and 12 points across his last 10 weeks. He just seems to be coming on pretty well. Good matchup for the guy. I want to say Higgins. Obviously, the ceiling is there with Higgins and Etienne more so than Najee. But to me, like, you're going for ceiling already with Watson and Walker. So I'd almost take the floor there with Najee and balance it out. Unless we get like a full practice from Higgins and he's ready to go, then maybe you can go back to that well. But I'm still nervous. I'm getting the heebie-jeebies just thinking about what Zach Taylor did to us last week. Hopefully that helps you out. Captain Quint, the people want to know, what's your favorite Christmas movie? My man supporting the show and then asking a genius question right there. Favorite Christmas movie? That's a tough one. My can't misses. I'm a sucker for the Muppets Christmas Carol. I know that makes me sound like a 10-year-old, maybe even younger, 4-year-old at that point. But I was raised on that one, raised on the original Grinch, the cartoon. I do like the Jim Carrey one, did a solid job, but give me the cartoon one all day. You can't beat the Charlie Brown Christmas, though. That's like the 30 minutes in and out. Great heartwarming message. Love me some Charlie Brown. There's so many good ones. Home Alone, if you consider Die Hard a Christmas movie, obviously that's a good debate we could have another time. Not enough time. We have too many questions to answer here. But I love those two. And then It's a Wonderful Life. I actually only recently, just like 3 years ago, got into It's a Wonderful Life. Man, that movie's awesome. Such a good feeler. So in terms of like best quality movie, it is probably It's a Wonderful Life. The meaning, the acting, all that, the story. It's so good. But just like genuine heartfelt for me, what I was born and bred on, it's got to be the Muppets or the Peanuts, the Christmas Charlie Brown ones. Thank you for asking. Very nice of you. Blendo, so one quick note, if you make a mistake, you super chat, I'll always keep my eyes peeled down there. So thank you for doubling up. I greatly appreciate it. That's so generous of you to go back to the well, but I would have seen your question. So if you do that again in the future, then I will be sure to look for it underneath. But thank you again for the double support. It's so greatly appreciated. Mike White or Justin Fields? To me, it's got to be Justin Fields. I do love the matchup for Mike White. Detroit, the most points to quarterbacks, over 330 yards in 2 of his 3 games. I think he's going to go for 350. Like, he's a great play this week. Mike White, I really like him. Top 12 quarterback for me. But Justin Fields is my quarterback 5. I mean, since that Monday Night Football game where he kind of they turned the keys over, really is actually the week before against Washington. He's had over 80 yards in all but one game on the ground. That's the key, the Konami upside. And he has been over his last 7 games, 24, 26, 43, 40, 24, and 21 points. So above 20 points in 7 straight games. Top 5 quarterback in all but one of those when he finished as the quarterback 7. He is just too damn dynamic. I get it. Philly's a good defense. Like, that scares me. But they're going to be chasing points. They're going to need Fields to do it all, to put this team on their back to have any fighting chance, which they don't. But they're going to be playing catch-up all day. So I am a huge Justin Fields fan. I have him as my quarterback in my main league. I would never think of benching him, even in these tough matchups against Philly, against Buffalo. I get the matchups. I get why it's a question. But Blendo, you're not benching Justin Fields. No way. Too dynamic as a rusher. He's insane. Isn't he like 6th in the league in rushing yards, like even among running backs right now? One of the most prolific rushing seasons of a quarterback we've ever seen. It just takes one broken play. It happens almost every week. Like, you just see him just zipping down the field for a 60-yard touchdown. An absolute stud. So I am 110% going Justin Fields, Blendo. Thank you so much again for your support, for your super chat. It means the world. We got to know, you guys are the best. Thank you guys so much for your support tonight, guys. The Christmas spirit is alive and true. And again, I truly hope I get these right for you. It is so greatly appreciated. And those of you that don't have the means for the super chat, I'll totally understand it. I will get to all those questions, probably a rapid fire at the end, given how many of these I have to answer. I love it. These super chats. Thank you again so much. I will definitely make sure to rapid fire and try to get everybody an answer before the end. But for these nice in-depth answers, the super chat is a great way to do it. But a free way to support the site. Over 50 a year. Love to see it. Thank you so much for being here, Wolfpack. That thumbs up button. It does help us get out to more people. It's so greatly appreciated. All righty, REM. Let's see how I can help you out. Need a running back 2 and a flex. Should I roll with Kenneth Walker fresh off the ankle injury? So if he was going to be limited at all, I imagine they would have he was full in practice. So ultimately removed from the injury report, not limited at all. I'm not expecting him to be limited. So when your other options are Fournette, Van Knight. So Van Knight's interesting. I actually have Zonovan Knight 1 spot above Kenneth Walker. Good matchup against the Lions, his 17 plus touches in 3 straight weeks, and just great to see with ultimately Mike Carter comes back and he still sees 17 plus touches. Exactly what I wanted to see was Mike Carter get relegated back to that more natural third down role for him, which is what happened. Exactly what happened. So I think we can lock in about 15 to 20 touches for Zonovan Knight in a much better matchup than Kenneth Walker's playing in. 12, 14, 15 points. The floor is nice for Knight. He has looked very solid. I think he's like top 7 in PFF's elusive grade since taking over as it. So, a lot of metrics suggesting this guy's the real deal. Can get it done as a receiver whenever called upon in that flesh too. So, to me, as much as talent as Kenneth Walker has, and I know I've recommended a lot of you guys playing, and I do stand by it. I like Kenneth Walker. He's my running back 17. Zonovan's my running back 16. A spot above, same tier, damn close. I think I'm going to side with the safety of Zonovan Knight here, knowing that Kenneth Walker definitely has the bigger ceiling, better talent, more blow-ups on the year for sure. Like Zonovan feels like a nice, safe bet to get you 12 to 20. Somewhere in that range, it's probably going to be there. Whereas Kenneth Walker might get you 6. He might get you 30. So I guess that also, I don't want to make it a non-answer and be like, what do you need? If you're the underdog, let's say you're a 6 seed facing a 3 that's just a monster wagon and you need a 30-point blow-up, you got to go with the talent of Kenneth Walker. But I'd say about 70% of the time, most situations, I'm going to go Zonovan Knight there. 1 spot above Kenneth Walker. So it couldn't be any closer for me. Fournette's not in the discussion for me. Timeshare with Rachaad White in the lesser half of that timeshare at that. So Fournette, you can cross out. To me, it comes down to Knight or Walker. And I myself am going to go Ken Walker. Quint, a great question. Where can the masses buy some great RSJ merch? We are in the last steps, Wolfpack. Tax stuff, legal stuff. This Saturday, I don't want to spoil it, but we're planning to debut it at Old Planners on the live stream as well. We will be bringing it up. It's going to be there, baby. So, Captain, so many generous super chats, man. I love you, Captain Quint, but come on. Stop. You've already paid us too much tonight. You're the fucking man. Thank you so much. Ask a question. Let me help you out in fantasy at least, brother. But yes, we will be debuting the Roto Street merch store this weekend, and I cannot fucking wait. It's going to be great. So it will be up soon, baby. I promise. Last couple steps here to iron out, but we're right on the cusp. It will be ready. I'll be up all night until it's ready before the live show. CD Aliens. I don't know if I can bring myself to start Niners. Start Ken Walker versus the vicious Niners D. I mean, CD, if these are your options, Hubbard, Akers, and Gus, you got to go with Ken Walker and that talent. Again, top 24 running back. I know it's a vicious run D. A little bit thin on the D-line tonight, though. What if one more injury strikes? They're going to like 4th stringers at that point. So I like Ken Walker. I'm going to try to tell you, out of these options, I would 100% encourage you to go Ken Walker. You're saying, F you, Wolf. I don't want to go him. My next closest guy is Cam Akers, running back 33. Green Bay's really bad. Really, really bad run defense. And he has been the lead back. They even went back to him after a fumble. I was like, oh, that's it. It's the last we've seen Cam Akers fumbled. He's done. And they went back to him. Only 9 points on the day, but 19 the week before. He's looked a bit better these last couple of weeks. And wow, shocking. He had a torn Achilles. Like, that's a brutal thing to come back from. It usually takes at least, very rarely do anybody come back from it. Never mind after one season. So it's nice to see him looking good. They've definitely got the right matchup, and maybe Baker makes this offense a little more competent. Terrible line, though. Still a big risk. And if he gets game flowed out, like if the Green Bay gets up early, they're going to go to Kyron Williams. So Akers is my next man up. I would rank them Akers, then Edwards, and Hubbard. So if you really wanted to go someone other than Ken Walker, that's how I'd rank them, because Edwards does have the matchup, even though Dobbins has quickly reasserted himself as the lead. So don't love Edwards. Don't even love Akers, but just my next man up. But I'll tell you that, like 15 spots separate those guys in my ranking. So I feel very strongly about Ken Walker over these options. It is a risk. Certainly, could get swallowed up by that big run D. But it's a risk I'm willing to take given how good he's been when he's in there. The floor has been high. The ceiling has been even higher. So I'm going to go Ken Walker myself, CD Aliens. But if you really want to get off of it, I'd go Akers instead. Chillard, Muppets Christmas. Yes, this is the content that people love. Playoffs, baby. Let's go, Chillard. Thank you so much for that super chat. I think that cleans up all of them. I'm double checking to make sure. from our man Campanelli gives me the thumbs up. All righty. Whew. Wolfpack, so generous of you guys tonight. Certainly in the holiday spirit. It is so greatly appreciated. I almost cut the stream for tonight because I do want to get that merch store ready to launch for Saturday. We have those few last steps, but I was like, it's playoff time. I cannot abandon the pack. And man, you guys have come through. I didn't do it for the super chats. I just wanted to make sure to be here for your fantasy playoffs. And look at you guys coming through, supporting your boy. Oh man, it's so greatly appreciated. It just validates the fact that I was going to go live anyways, but man, when you guys come through like that, it warms the Christmas spirit, warms the heart. So quick cheers to you before we get through the rest of this news and then get to all your questions. So at the tight end position, and thank you again so much, guys. It is truly, I'm not trying to sound like an asshole. I really it's so awesome. Like so genuinely appreciated. Pat Fry did not practice today. He keeps saying he's going to play. He said at a lock, but he hasn't practiced yet this week. So Friday, definitely want to see if he gets that limited session in. Dallas Goedert says things are trending in the right direction for him to play. And we know Goedert, top 5 tight end, the tight end position. I know he'd probably be on a little snap count, but tight end position is such a damn wasteland that I'd have a hard time not playing Dallas Goedert, assuming he is back in this week. And then Juwan Johnson, ankle injury was limited, but he gets Atlanta. He was an absolute touchdown maven, was a top 3 tight end for a 5-week stretch where he was just scoring touchdown after touchdown after touchdown. So Juwan Johnson, a genuinely viable play this week. The last note is on the line is Teron Armstead, questionable, but he did practice. And when he's practiced, he's played. So I expect him back, and that's great for Tua. I guess a good front for the Buffalo Bills. That could go a very, very long way. Whew. Another super chat for Chillard. Looks like he's got another one. My man, you are so appreciated. We appreciate you. Thank you so much. Always here for the Wolf Pack, but you guys coming through. I knew you would, but you guys are the best. Thank you so much again for your generous support, guys. It really does. It's so awesome. So nice of you. Thanks again. I can't say it enough. I would do it for free, but when the little extra financial cash comes in, like all the better. Maybe someday I'll be able to retire and just do this full time with you guys. Who knows? That's the dream, right? But you guys are the absolute. Where would I get to the higher, lower Hail Mary? Another one comes in. You guys are too generous. I fucking love it. Thank you guys so much. My man Charlie coming in. Watson's locked into the flex. Zeke or Walker running back 2 for Charlie. Good question. This is one, and I know I've been saying mostly Walker for these. This is one where I probably wouldn't absorb the risk, Charlie. And I think I would go Zeke instead. Zeke has been damn solid these last few weeks since coming back from that injury. They didn't seem to rush him back. They got him healthy. Look at these last game logs. 15, 18, 17, 16, 17, 16. Guy hasn't been below 15 points in 6 straight weeks. Whew. I am absolutely in there. I absolutely love Kenneth Walker. I love the player, love the talent, but Zeke's floor is damn good. Jacksonville, top 10 matchups for running backs. So yes, as good as Pollard's been, Zeke has been a top 12 running back in all but 1 week, and he was the running back 13. Give me that floor. As much as I like Kenneth Walker, and the ceiling is there, maybe he hits 30. That Zeke does not have that ceiling with Pollard eating his cheese now, but he's going to get you a touchdown. He's going to get you about 75 yards. The matter is, does he get 2? Does he catch a few balls to go with it? I absolutely love the nice safe play. Unless you truly need that ceiling of Walker, it's a little bit too much risk against a really tough run D with the injury concerns. I love Walker this week, but Zeke is top 12 running back for me this week, just as he's been for literally 6 straight weeks. I'm into Zeke. Let's go. Let's go, Charlie. JT86TN with another super chat again. You guys are the best. Full PPR, pick 2. Jamal, Najee, or Walker. So we got to bench one of these guys, JT86TN. I'm benching Jamal. Always a risk. 3 touchdown upset. But we saw last week what happens when he doesn't score. 4 points, running back 42. And even the weeks before, he's been scoring touchdowns, and that's about it. 10 points, 11 points. So running back 28, 26, and 42, his last 3. We've seen both Swift and Justin Jackson sneaking into that goal line role a little bit every now and again, too. It's one thing when Jamal Williams, at the exact goal line, it's going to be him. But in the red zone, now that Swift's getting a little more involved, now that we've got, even Justin Jackson getting involved in the red zone, those snaps not going to Williams kind of caps the chance that he gets those monster 24-point, 3-touchdown running back 4 days. Like we saw that 4 weeks ago. But other than that, even 10 and 12 points before that, like there's a good chance he scores, but it might just be 10 to 11, and that's it. And even then, if he doesn't score, he just leaves you high and dry. 16 carries for 37 yards last week. I really just don't think he's that good of a player. He's just a great scorer, a great locker room. Like, love him for your fantasy locker room, but I won't. Out of these guys, like Najee, you're going to get 4 to 5 catches. You're going to get 10 to 20 carries, somewhere in that range. And he's got a decent bet to find the end zone as well. He just seems to be coming on as the stretch run. And he's got a top 10 matchup against Carolina. Walker, obviously the risk with the 49ers, but I just believe in the talent. And I'm going to side with the talent here. And I'm going to bench Jamal, JT86TN. Thank you so much, brother. Captain Quinn paying $2 just to say, no more Walker questions. I mean, that's the question of the night. I get it. I understand. He's coming off an injury. He's got a tough matchup to play him, but I believe in the player. Top 17 for me. Alrighty, Wolfpack. I love all the back and forth going on. I think that cleans up our super chats, which allows me to get to our higher, lower, and Hail Mary. As you guys know, the longtime viewers here, I quickly rip through the higher, the lower, the Hail Marys of the week. So you know my sets, my starts, my streams. It'll take about 5 minutes of position. So in 20 minutes or less, we'll be there for your time. We got one more super chat to get. You guys are the best. Thank you so much. So let me hit that, and then we're going to get to higher, lower, Hail Mary, and then we'll get to all of your questions. But as always, I want to keep good on my Wolf Hearts Wolf emojis coming through for us, big but chilled. Wolf Hearts Walker. Indeed. I love that the chat you guys are going through and answering each other's questions. Love it. Keep supporting each other. Keep helping each other out as I rip through these higher, lower Hail Mary, because obviously my word is not scripture. Damn close. But I can have a mistake every now and again. So it's great to get some other opinions going, feeding each other, feeding and breeding in the pack. Love to see it. Inbred wolves, baby. A free way, of course, is that thumbs up button. If you can't super chat, all good. But 50 of you here, thumbs up. Help us keep getting out to more people, Wolfpack. You love to see it. Let's start with my higher, lower Hail Marys for the quarterback position. Who am I sitting? Who am I starting? Who am I streaming, baby? Let's go. We talked about him earlier, but Justin Fields, I'm +3 ECR. He is in my top 5 no matter what. Since week 7, he's had 20 or more points in every single week. He's been top 5 in all but one, and he was the 7th quarterback in that week. Unbelievable rushing production with 82, 60, 178. My God, 147, 85, and 71 yards on the ground. Most often scoring a touchdown on the ground and throwing one or so in that span. The guy's an absolute Konami cheat code. Top 7 in the league in rushing yards at the quarterback position. You can't get much better than that, folks. Lock him in. No word about him. I get the Eagles defense is scary, but he's going to need to chase some points, and that's when he's deadliest, when he's under pressure and can just zip out and run for a 60-yard touchdown out of nowhere. Love me some Justin Fields. Facing Jalen Hurts on the other side. Wants to achieve the next up. Jared Goff, I'm also a bit higher on this week. Gets a ferocious Jets secondary. Love and respect that Jets defense. I think they're the real deal. But I also really like this Lions offense with everything on the line. They could really make the playoffs, and I love to see it. Let's go, Dan Campbell, baby. But we got 340 yards, 330 yards in back-to-back weeks for Jared Goff. 2 or more touchdowns in 3 straight games as well. He's been the quarterback 4 in back-to-back weeks. Jacksonville and Minnesota, easier matchups by a long shot. The Jets are bottom 5 matchups. So I get this is going to be a real litmus test. Like, is he actually legit, or was it just feasting on matchups? But I do, as I talked about earlier, I think Mike White puts up his yards, puts up his points, and forces Goff and the Lions in a spot where they're going to need to throw. And yes, I respect the secondary a ton. I think Goff's turned a corner, though. Famous last words. Maybe that kills me in trusting Jared Goff, but I have him as a top 12 quarterback 11, where he's ranked as a quarterback 16 from ECR right now. So I'm +5 on him. In terms of my lower, this one's going to make some people a little bit skeptical, but Trevor Lawrence coming off a 33-point day, the quarterback 1. I'm -5 on him right now this week. He's facing Dallas. The thing with Trevor Lawrence, he's been just absolutely feasting on great matchups. And you love to see him coming through after a really sketchy rookie year with Urban Meyer. 17, 21, 25, 16, and 33. Really solid outputs. But none of those matchups, they've almost all been in the top 10, and none of them have been bottom 15. His last 3 red matchups that he's had, 9, 7, and 12 fantasy points in those games. And now he gets Dallas, which is a bottom 5 matchup for quarterbacks. Similar to Jared Goff. And I guess why do you have more faith in Jared Goff than you do Trevor Lawrence? I don't know. I don't really have a good reason for you. And Lawrence came through with me with 25 points against Baltimore. So I get that too. But I think the Jaguars are going to get smashed. I think coming off that embarrassing game against Houston, Dallas comes out firing. Trevor Lawrence still has that toe thing lingering. I just don't want to trust him. I personally do not trust Trevor Lawrence heading into my fantasy playoffs. Maybe he makes me look like a complete moron. After 33 points last week, he sure could. Tom Brady as well. He's ranked inside the top 12 by the ECR. Guess how many times Tom Brady's been a top 3 quarterback? Go ahead. Guess in the comments. I'd love to see before I spoil it for you. How many games in 13 has Tom Brady been top 12? I'll count them for you. 1, 2, 3. That's it. 3 top 12 games on the year in 13 efforts. How embarrassing. And the last time, he's only had 1 top 12 game since week 6. It has been bad. It has been ugly. He's been under duress. The line is bad. The play calling's bad. He is bad. He's missing wide open throws to Mike Evans deep down the field. And Cincinnati's been really good. They've given up like 2 second-half touchdowns all year. Pat Mahomes had a lackluster game against it. If Pat Mahomes isn't playing at his peak, Tom Brady, we expect to be a top 12 guy? Not for me. Not going against Tom Brady. I think they're going to – the Bucs. Why do we have any faith in the Bucs right now? No, thank you. My Hail Mary of the week. Actually a spot above Tom. This is a bit of a risk, but Tyler Huntley, quarterback, 18% rostered. And the big thing is not passing. It's running. Cleveland's bottom 2 run D. And that's when we get Tyler 60 yards on the ground last year, or 200 yards through the air as well. I know last week, 6 left in the third quarter. It's scary. Started him last week. You're probably like, screw this Wolf, not going back. I understand it. I think the guy's going to run for 75 to 100 yards against a really, really bad, let's emphasize again, really bad Cleveland run D. I expect him to have a pathetic effort. The defense have a pathetic effort for Huntley to run in for about 75 a score. Keep in mind, this guy had a 40-point game last year. He had 5 starts. 3 of them were in the top 12 quarterbacks. 2 of them were in the top 6. And he had the quarterback 1 performance in that 40-point day. I'm a huge fan of Tyler Huntley this week against Cleveland. If you're desperate, 18% rostered, you can do a lot worse. The other guy I'll toss out there for you super flexers out there, 9 spots above this guy on the ECR. And this one's a complete and utter Hail Mary in every sense of the word. He's at 1% rostered right now. Desmond Ridder. 4.5, 240, 97th percentile there. Good weapons, 98th percentile for his burst. Great elusiveness. Preseason looked very dangerous as a runner and also made some really clutch throws down the stretch. You got Drake London, good wide receiver. I do believe in Arthur Smith. Despite his inconsistent usage of his talent, I think he crafts a good run scheme. I think he does use his quarterback. I mean, Marcus Mariota was in the top 5 in rush attempts per game. So Konami following it, we believe in Justin Fields. And Justin Fields is throwing for 150 a game and putting up top 5 numbers. I wouldn't be shocked. I don't think Ritter's at the elusive level. Fields is special as a runner. We get that. Ridder might not be special. We haven't seen it yet. But he has the at least speed to be very special as a runner at the quarterback position. So if you're desperate, don't be shocked if this guy runs in for 2 touchdowns here. And he's ranked right now below like Mac Jones, Sam Darnold. Sam Darnold. I mean, I'd even start Desmond Ridder over Derek Carr after that 4-point pathetic bust week. So that gives you my higher, lower Hail Mary quarterbacks for the week. Moving to the running back position, Wolfpack. Again, 50 a year thumbs up button would be so greatly appreciated. I'm 29 spots above the ECR on Damien Harris. Now, I think that's very injury related, and this often happens, but I have him at running back 23, and I doubt he's going to enter the top 30 for your ECR. I think he's going to be the lead back. Ramondre has been banged up. Of course, if Ramondre comes back, we'll readjust this. But assuming Ramondre's out, I don't think we see him this week. This is last year's Damien Harris. He's the running back 12 in fantasy. How many touchdowns? 15 touchdowns last year. And he gets the Raiders a top 7 matchups for running backs. Ramondre, yes, I do think we'd get, whether it's Kevin Harris, whether it's Pierre Strong, somebody else will be in that rotation. But I do think when we had Ramondre in, we saw Damien Harris when he was still an active part. Before he went down, he scored a touchdown in 3 straight weeks from weeks 2 through 4. This guy is still a really hard runner. I still really like the player. He's a free agent, so I don't think they'll have any qualms, the Pats, about riding the wheels off. Assuming Ramondre is out, I bet you Harris sees 18 to 20 carries, but he finds the end zone at least once, maybe twice, and racks up 20 to 100 yards. I think he's a smash play. And somehow he's still out there in like 40% of leagues. Go check your waiver wire. See if he's out there. Of course, again, hinging on the fact that Ramondre is out. The other running back I'm a lot higher on, running back 26, plus 9 is ECR. He's the running back 3 across the last 2 games. That's Jerick McKinnon. Coming off a 29-point effort, 19 the week before this. McKinnon's a beast. I've always been a McKinnon guy. So, of course, you know I'm horny and happy that he's absolutely killing it right now. But he's a monster. Everybody's in on Pacheco, and I like Pacheco. But McKinnon's the goal line back, or the red zone back. He's seen 80% of the red zone snaps the last 3 weeks. We saw Pacheco walk into 12 snaps compared to just 2 for McKinnon that first game without CEH. But then he dropped a couple balls. He missed a couple crucial blocks. And ever since that, McKinnon, when it matters most, has been that guy in there. Don't forget they're facing Houston this week. So, yes, that sets up Pacheco nice. I understand that. He's probably going to see 20 carries. He's going to have a nice day. But I wouldn't be shocked at all to see McKinnon haul in at least 1 touchdown, maybe run 1 in as well. We know Mahomes, the most attempts inside the 10-yard line, 55. The next closest is Herbert at 41. So they love to pass it when they get inside that 10-yard line. I think McKinnon could have a really, really nice day. And that makes me lower on Isaiah Pacheco. I have him running back 20, a couple spots above McKinnon himself, but that's also -6 the ECR, which has him as a fringe running back 1, right at running back 14. Again, 20% of the goal line snaps going to him, and compared to 80% of the red zone snaps going to McKinnon. That makes a big difference. Now we've seen 11, 15, 15, and 11 points for Isaiah Pacheco, running back 21, 16, 11, and 19. He's been good. No doubt about it. Definitely been a good player. But I ultimately worry about McKinnon's involvement so close to the stripe. And so I think, yes, I'd probably play Pacheco where I have him. I do. But as a fringe top 12 guy, I'm getting like Zeke versus Pacheco. Honestly, I'd probably go Ken Walker tonight over Pacheco. Nice floor to Pacheco, probably safer than Ken Walker. But I still am a little bit lower on him. And I'm definitely benching this week Rachaad White, who's out there. A lot of people asking about him. He's my running back 32. Really tough matchup against Cincy. And he's splitting the snaps. 40 snaps for White, 36 to Fournette. So it was nice to see him take the majority. But that's still, just about a 50-50 split. We saw Fournette run more routes, 30 routes compared to 20 for White. 5 targets for White, 7 for Leonard Fournette. 13 carries compared to 4 for Fournette. That's a nice domination of the carry load, but missing out on those valuable reception totals, that's pretty nerve-wracking and definitely a tough matchup on a bad offense in a timeshare. None of those boxes are getting checked for me, so I'm benching Rachaad White where I have him in most situations. And my Hail Mary, before I see a super chat just came in, love to see it. One Hail Mary quickly for you, though, is Pierre Strong. We just mentioned the running backs, assuming Ramondre is out. I do think Harris eats Damien Harris. That is not Kevin Harris. Let's be clear here. And although if Damien and Ramondre are out, maybe Kevin could actually be viable himself too. He'd be the big back. I think regardless, Pierre Strong, assuming again Ramondre is out, will have a role even if Damien Harris is out there. 13% roster. And this guy on 9 touches, put up 90 total yards. Looking great as a receiver. He's awesome as a zone runner. I mean, he was the best, highest ranked zone runner in college football last year. And he looked really nice on those runs on Monday Night Football. Just had some juice. And yes, Kevin Harris played above him, but as soon as Strong came in, made those plays in the second half, he led the team in snaps. He was the lead back. He's the go-to guy, and he looked damn good. Did not disappoint in his action there. So very, very big fan of Pierre Strong. If you're desperate, 13% rostered guy out there for your Hail Marys. All righty, Wolfpack, we're going to move to the wide receiver position, but before we do, we have a super chat from Jose Laredo. Let me go find that one right here. Kittle or Driskel? DJ Chark or E. Moore? Full PPR. Great questions, Jose. We'll talk about both these tight ends when we get there. So, man, this is tough. I love rostering Driskel. I don't want to face him. For the reason why you're asking Driskel in the first place, let's make sure this is clear to everybody. If you're on Yahoo, he's tight end eligible. He's a quarterback. He might be the starting quarterback for the Houston Texans. He's 17% rostered. Stop what you're doing right now. I keep playing it. Listen to my rambles here. But also go pick up Jeff Driskel if you're on Yahoo. Because he might be a starting quarterback that you can play at tight end. We've seen that with Joe Webb as a receiver. We saw that with Taysom Hill last year, getting 20 points a week as the starting quarterback for the Falcons at your tight end spot. So in 90% of the situations, I'm going to take a quarterback that's playing at tight end over the actual tight end. Like Kelsey's really the only one, especially with Mark Andrews kind of floundering here down the stretch, that I'd have above Jeff Driskel if he is the guaranteed starter. the thing is he was about a 35-40% snap player, playing a lot of the short yardage, a lot of the red zone work. So that's the valuable stuff. Getting a lot of work as a runner, great to see, through the touchdown, whereas we got an interception from Mills. I want to bench Jeff Driskel this week. Let's see what happens. Let's see if he can take over the full-time quarterback role. Because until then, it's still the Texans, and a part-time quarterback role on an offense that might score 0 points is still pretty risky. So when I have like a guy like Kittle, who has granted not been anything consistent himself, but he gets Seattle, the second most points allowed to tight ends. This is a defense that gets bombed by the position. Now you got Deebo out. Historically, Kittle without Deebo has been a smash, set and forget, don't ask questions about him type of play. So I think Kittle, definitely a top 5 tight end play today. And as much as I'm intrigued by Driskel, I'm glad you have him. Would love to have him on my bench. Don't want to ever face him. I have a hard time without knowing that he's a starting quarterback. If in the next 5 minutes he's announced as the starter, okay, we switch that up. But I'd like to roster him, see what happens. Again, this team has shown no issues with benching Kenneth Walker. Davis Mills. So yeah, I think he could be an absolute beat. And then Chark or Moore, I think I lean slightly Elijah Moore there. Against the Lions, no Corey Davis, 10 targets last week. Mike White coming on his own. I just love the talent there. So that's where I lean. I think it's a higher volume role. Alrighty, Wolfpack. It is getting close to kickoff time. We had so many super chats we had to take our time with. So let me rip through these wide receivers real quick. I'll skip the tight end position so we can then hit a rapid fire to all your questions before we get to kickoff. But let me hit your wide receiver, high or lower Hail Mary real fast. If you need a question answered tonight, though, that super chat would be so greatly appreciated. I'll make sure to cut the line, get you there. But we got Christian Watson, wide receiver 14, plus 8 ECR. The fact that this guy's outside the top 20 wide receivers makes no sense to me, given he has been a top 8 wide receiver in 4 straight weeks since he came on as a starter. He is averaging nearly 25 fantasy points per game. He's the number 1 wide receiver in fantasy points per game since coming on as a starter. And you take away his touchdowns, Wolf. Well, he's still averaging 12.5 points, 4 catches and 80 yards. You can't just say take away his touchdowns when he's a monster red zone threat. He's a speed demon, and he's great after the catch where he can outrun the entire defense on any given slant. So I am in love with Christian Watson. I think he continues this absolute tear as the dominant stretch. Captain Quint, I know you're on there with me. Love this guy. My other wide receiver I'm higher on is Michael Pittman, getting the nuts matchup. Number 1 in points allowed, Minnesota, 2 outside receivers. He's seen 8+ targets, Michael Pittman, in 8 of his 13 weeks. I think he comes on big down your stretch here for you against the Vikings. Lower for me is Jalen Waddle, 4 spots below ECR against Buffalo, wide receiver 17. One Buffalo has been pretty generous actually to wide receiver 1s, but lockdown on number 2s. Now Tre'Davious White comes in. That secondary's looked great these last 2 weeks. And Waddle himself, 9-11, 1 and 14 points across his last 4 games. Has not been a top 30 wide receiver in that span. And now you mix in the fact that 9 inches of snow, maybe 20 to 30 mile per hour winds with a low forecast. I have confidence in Josh Allen and the Bills to handle that weather. They're used to it. Those Miami Dolphins, though, the opposite end of the spectrum, a little bit nervous on him. I'm also a little bit worried about Terry McLaurin. He had 21 points last time out against the Giants in week 13. I always am skeptical about people coming right back in the next week and doing it again against that same opponent. To have that game film fresh. Coaches very rarely will allow the same player to beat them just 2 weeks in a row. So the fact that he's, 30% target share since Heineke came over, I get it. But 8-17, 8-7, 21. 2 of his games in his last 5 have been useful. The other 3 have been very mediocre at best. I think we get a very mediocre game. They just pound the rock. I'm also lower on Mike Evans. Saw some questions on him in there. 7, 8, 4, 8, and 6 PPR points across his last 5 games. That is abysmal. He has not scored a touchdown since week 4. And yes, a ton of those have been sheesh. Like, where are the touchdowns? I don't know. But it's been sketchy. Now, moving to the Hail Mary position, Elijah rostered against Detroit right now. Actually up to 35% rostered. So he may have got picked up. But 10 targets with Corey Davis out last week, called 6 of them for 60 yards. So good workload share. Gets the team given up. The 3rd most points to wide receivers, played 61 of 75 snaps last week. 2nd most on the team, ran 47 of 52 routes. 2nd most on the team, 10 targets, led the team. Love Eli Moore. But if he's gone in your league, look at Chris Moore. 7% rostered. Really like this guy. Kansas City's given up the 4th most points to the wide receiver position. This guy saw 11 targets, Chris Moore, for Houston. 10 catches, 124 yards in that loss. And I said it last week. He's my Hail Mary last week. I'm going back to the well because he's still somehow out there in so many damn leagues. Love Chris Moore. Alrighty, Wolfpack. I'm skipping tight end because I need to go and hit your mailbag. Nelly, I'm giving you one question because we got a loaded mailbag. I can't answer more. Give me one. Great to see you.
It's only one.
Alrighty.
Geno, Purdy, Huntley, Watson.
How many do you need? Geno, a beast, and I know it's a 49ers secondary. Defense is good. Definitely more of a pass funnel than a run funnel. They're a little banged up too in the back. Geno's just been too damn good to bench. I don't think he's been below 19 points in like 5 straight weeks now. Riding that hot hand. The other options just don't inspire any confidence. So give me Geno. I feel good about it. Hell yeah.
Thanks,
Thank you, Campanelli. Keeping the streak alive, brother. Good to see you as always. Sorry to be short with you. I would always love to talk longer ball with you. And thank you so much, as always, for moderating those super chats. I'll keep these eyes peeled for some more super chats. But Wolfpack, I'm just going to hit a rapid fire here. Again, a super chat. I'll pause. I'll make sure to go in depth for you. Be so appreciated. But with over 40 of you here, one last plea, one last call for that thumbs up button and subs. Anybody new here? We're almost to 3K. Please help us out. Please consider helping us get there. Alrighty. 49ers held Geno to, yes, that's a little sketchy. I'm still riding it. It has not caused us any harm yet. That DK and Lockett fucking stack. Keep riding it, Fatty Mateo. I absolutely love it. Seattle's Goodwin at wide receiver? No way. I go Jerick McKinnon. It's my favorite option there. Jerry, but honestly, I like all 3 of them above Goodwin. Harris or Swift, TN? I'm going Harris. Assuming he's in and Ramondre's out, smashing D. Harris. Sit 1, DPJ, Godwin, Olave, Harris, Swift. Probably DPJ, weather pending there. Hemmings, what's going on? I'm starting Kenneth Walker over Swift myself. I just don't think it's a timeshare for Kenneth Walker. He's off the injury report. I think he's going to smash. LJ Hurt, who do you start? Purdy, Dalton, Ryan. I'm going to go Ryan against Minnesota. Top 3 matchup for quarterbacks. 48 over under. I think that game can shoot up. I'm going to go Walker over Kirk for the flex as well. Come for the football, stay for the Wolfpack. Hell yeah. Remember to like, comment. We're almost at that 3K. Let's go, baby. Love it. Thank you, David. Half PPR lost Deebo, Pearson, Wilson. We need to get you some backups in here. 2 receivers in a flex. DPJ, Gal, Judy, Zay, Pickens, Foreman, McKinnon, and Gibson. I'm going to go. I wish we could start 2 running backs here. I'm going to go. I think McKinnon's my favorite here at the running back position. And then for the receivers, I'm going to go Judy, and I'm going to go DPJ, pending the weather. If it's looking ugly, really windy, I'll pivot to Zay Jones there. And smash that like button. Thank you, Sarno. And Deeb. What's up, Kristen, man? Standard league. Grow up. 1 receiver, 2 running backs, 1 flex. So you got to bench one of these options. All righty. Oh, we need – okay, let's see what we got here. 2 running backs. James Conner, Aaron Jones, Jamal. So I'm going James Conner, Aaron Jones. Don't like either of the other running backs. So then we're going to go 1 receiver, Christian Watson, no doubt about it. And then in the flex, I'm going to go Christian Kirk there. All righty. Call in live. Wolfpack, not anymore at this point. Purdy or White, I'm going Mike White all day there, Sebastian Alex. No doubt about it. 49ers or Broncos? Give me the 49ers tonight. What's up? Broncos do get – you know what? Broncos get Colt McCoy. Give me Colt McCoy matchup. 6 sacks against the Pats. Love that. Geno versus San Fran or Rodgers versus the Rams. I'm going to go Geno. Just been so damn good. Let's get this win, Millie C. Hell yeah. Cheers. Smash that like, gang. Hell yeah. If you're on bye, we can have Gabe Davis. Yeah, definitely put him in the bye. Don't give him the reps. No, bench him. Make him get in his own head. Should I flex Mason or wait? I'd wait for DPJ. Mason, you're really banking on an injury, like a really blowout duty. And I don't think they blow out the Seahawks enough to give you something reliable. Feel crazy asking about Brady or Matt Ryan. It's actually not that crazy, Chip. I do go Brady. I know I'm lower on him. He's my 18 and Ryan's my 20 though. Like it's close. So pretty close, but I'm going to go Brady there. Honestly, the upside's probably with Matt Ryan. Kind of like Matt Ryan more. Now I'm talking it out. 49ers defense or Patriots defense if you have Geno as QB? I guess Patriots. I don't know. That's a tough one. I'd probably still go 49ers because they could like pick 6 him and then Geno has to throw all day. Aiyuk or Watson? Definitely Watson. Never benching him. And I'm going to keep playing Tyreek. Yes, Nikola. Komet or Dulcich? I'm going to go Dulcich there. Arizona matchup so damn juicy and all those other weapons are hurt. Mason being a sneaky start? Nah, Millie C. I don't think so. I think you're getting an injury or a real big blowout. I hope none of those happen tonight. Need a boom week. Zonovan. So if you need a boom, it's Kenneth Walker. Much higher upside than Zonovan. You need the floor. Zonovan's a lock for 12 to 20. Kenneth Walker's the one that can get you to 30. Probably not going to happen against this defense, though. Most cases, I do have Zonovan 16 versus 17. So I'd go Zonovan most times, but Walker does have the higher ceiling, though. Like and subscribe. You're the man. Favorite appetizer? Big Mott stick guy. I love wings, though. Always wings, Krana. Which quarterback do I start? Geno, Mike White, Aaron Rodgers. I'm gonna go Geno. Trevor Lawrence might be recommended by most, but I prefer Geno. He's just been so steady for me. I love him myself. Walker or Z Knight. Okay, another one of these. Again, my 16 and 17. I'm going to go Z Knight myself. Safer, feels steadier. Walker does have the bigger boom ceiling, but I'm going to go Zonovan. Aiyuk or Ken Walker. Oh, now we're talking two of my favorite guys tonight. I'm going to go Aiyuk, Jay Stahl. Nicola, the weather in Buffalo, I think it's overblown. Yeah, you keep your studs in there. You don't worry about Tyreek Hill. I'm with you. Dallas Goedert, if he plays over Dulcich, that's a pretty good one, Cron. It's going to come right down the wire. We need to see is Dallas Goedert limited. He's going to be on a snap count. I do have Dulcich above Okonkwo. I probably have Goddard above Okonkwo too. I think right now, gun to my head, I go Dulcich. But if Dallas Goedert's not limited at all, then of course we go him. By the way, thanks for telling me to bench Murray last week. Oh, you're welcome. I'm glad. Obviously, I didn't foresee an injury. But yeah, I'm glad that worked out for you. Start two, Walker, Etienne, Swift, Jamal Williams, or Dobbins. I'm going to go Walker, and I'm going to go, I think, Dobbins over the others for Sarah. Saquon or Miles? I actually kind of like Miles Sanders a little bit more. Seems a little safer against Chicago. Start Goddard? Yeah, probably. Depends on who your other tight ends are, but man, he's good. Going to toss a like here. Kids earned a bye week. Yeah, hell yeah. Let's go, Benny. Congrats on the bye week, and thank you for the like. Ayuk, Gabe Davis, or Higgins? I'm going to go. I think I just go Ayuk tonight and just play it safe. Higgins makes me nervous, and Davis certainly makes me nervous. What do you think about Eli Moore this week? Might have to start him if Higgins is a no-go. I think he's a fine play. As I mentioned in the higher lower Hail Mary, 10 targets, gets Detroit, third most points. I like it. Lazard or Chark? I'm going to go Chark there, Philip. Going against CMC. Welcome to hell, Kyle Tunenberg. I have Walker, Najee, Etienne, Watson, Juju, and Higgins. Start three of them. I'm going to go Watson. I'm going to go Najee, and I'm going to go Walker. Juju's the next one up, Nicholas. How do I do super chats? YouTube. You figured it out. Thank you so much, CD. I really appreciate that. Rashad or Ken Walker? I'm going to go Ken Walker, baby, for you, Brady DeRosa. Tight matchup within 1 point. You rolling out KW3 or Walker? I'm going to go Walker over Williams for sure. PPR, Walker, Swift, White. I'm going Walker. Jones or Purdy? I'm going to go Jones, but very slightly, not really close. Daniel Duong, Walker versus San Fran or Elijah Moore versus Detroit. I'm going to go Walker there. Mike White or Fields? Blendo, you got that super chat in. I'm definitely going Justin Fields, though, to reiterate it. I'm hoping, Captain, I think you're still there. Just making sure there's no super chats coming in because I cannot scan for all of them. None so far. But we got about 8 minutes to kick off. I'm going to keep rapid firing Wolfpack, but this might be one we don't get through them all because this is a shitload of questions. You guys had so many super chats. Take my time with. I greatly appreciate it so much. One last plea for that thumbs up button as well and subs if you're new around here. I'm going Justin Fields 110%. Yeah, that super chat. I'll cut the line. I'll take my time for your questions as well. So again, Justin Fields. Waddle or Pittman? Ooh, I think it's Pittman. I have Waddle higher in the rankings, but I need to change that. Although I regret answering this because people supporting the site, man. You're calling people out for like being nice and spreading Christmas joy, Avila. Fuck off. I regret answering your question. What's up, Wolf? Should I start Burks or Davis? Burks is probably not going to play Brunel, so no. And then DeMarcus Robinson over James Cook. Yeah, I'd probably go with that in full PPR. Cook is just real risky at this point. And I don't think Burks is going to play. I might have got the Hawks winning tonight. 120. Oh, good luck. I do not expect myself. Mike White or Justin Fields. I don't keep repeating that. So yeah, we talked about that one already for you. CD Aliens. I go again Walker over all those guys. Definitely Walker over Latavius Murray, Michael Hatfull. The Muppets do rule. Hell yeah. We do have a super chat quickly coming in from the Mountain Man. So let me scroll down and find that one. Got to make sure to keep our word and get the super chats first. We rocking Geno or Tua? I think I'm going to go Tua. The weather does make me nervous, but it's hard to know until we actually see the weather. So I have Tua a spot higher. The floor higher with Geno. So I don't blame you if you want to play it safe. They're close. They're really close. So honestly, I might just go Geno and play it safe. But I think the upside lies with Tua and that the weather gets overblown. And so I think I go Tua myself. But if you want the safe floor, I don't blame you. They're close enough that it's not unjustifiable. Muppets do rule. And the Christmas Story is a great call. Niners worldwide. I don't think that's yuck at all. Alrighty. Should I go Green Bay or I'm going to go Green Bay there. I'm just trying to find the questions. You guys are talking back and forth, and I love it. Mike White or Brock Purdy? I'm going to go Mike White for sure, Giuseppe. I'm going to go Gino. I would just answer that one for you. Thank you for that, for sure. I'm out, man, for that super chat. Aiyuk or Zay Jones? I'm definitely going Aiyuk, and I'm going to go Zay over Rashad White. Shout out the Bay. Hell yeah. Zonovan Knight. Hell yeah. Let's go, baby. I love Zonovan Knight. I still feel – I know I get the risk with Walker. I'm not going to ignore it, but I still feel him. Green Bay over 2 flex spots PPR. White, Walker, Judy, Deontay, Jacoby. I'm going to go Walker and Judy there for your heart crush. Watson or Geno? I'm definitely going Geno. I do not trust Deshaun Watson at this point. Deion Brown. Pick 3 for Daniel Harlan. Barkley, Etienne, Knight, Dylan, Walker. I'm going Knight. I'm going Barkley, and I'm going Walker there. Yeah, let's have a beer, baby. Hell yeah. Cheers. You Chillard and all your super chats and everybody else who was willing to toss out some money to me. So appreciated, guys. Thank you so much. Such a generous night. You guys are awesome. D-Hop or Walker? I'm going to go D-Hop. But yeah, I get the hesitancy with Colt McCoy, but I still think it's a little bit safer. No, I'm not flexing Jordan Mason. Talk to me about Walker versus Pacheco. I prefer Walker. I think it's Pacheco's safe. Right, Hags. If you want the floor, you go with him. And Mason, yeah, maybe Mason could go off. I get that. I think he's a great player. It's a really bad run D. They would need to be blowing him up. But if he gets significant work, if he gets 15 carries tonight, Mason's going to have like 90 yards if he gets more than 15 carries. So we'll see. But I think it's a very risky move. All righty. PJ Walker? No, he's not starting. It's I think all right, you guys are talking shit to each other. So I'm going to smell like up dog. Let me find Saturday games this game. Yeah, don't forget people. Exactly. Saturday games live at Old Planters. Come on down to Beverly, Mass. Monty, Pacheco, Lenny, Swift, pick 2. I'm betting Lenny and Swift. I'm betting them. I'm going Monty and Pacheco there for you. Walker or Deontay? I'm going Walker there for sure. Pick 2 receivers, Elijah Moore, DPJ, Goodwin, Paris Campbell. I'm going to go Elijah Moore, and I'm going to go Drake London. Yahoo, just picked up Tony because of Murray IR. Who would you drop to pick up Driskel? I would probably drop Mike Carter. I don't think he's going to be shit the rest of the year. I'm going to go Josh Allen for sure, Jared. Melvin Dunzo? Yes, definitely. Maybe a stash for next year. Who knows? Yeah, let's go, Brandon. Thank you. Lockett, Hopkins, Tyreek, Christian Watson. I'm going Watson, Tyreek, and Hopkins. I'm benching Lockett, even though he's damn good. Great options there, Brandon. Wow. Gino, Mike, Danny Dimes. I'm going to go Gino there, 909. Pick 1, Walker, Waddle, Etienne, Godwin in the flex. I'm going to go Godwin there, but it's close. We already got that one for you. Aiyuk or Foreman? I had to decide that myself, Fady. I'm going Aiyuk. Walker, Montgomery, Murray. I'm going to go Walker there, Niners. Who to start? I'm in on Walker, I guess, clearly. Who to start? 3, Dylan, Swift, Rashad White. You gave me 3 options, Gabriel, so I'm going to start all 3. Start Walker and McLaughlin. I'm going to go Walker. What are your thoughts on picking up Cole Beasley? Yeah, no thanks. Justin Fields over Justin Herbert, baby. Nathaniel, Sanders, and Cook. Who do I start? Kamara, Keenan, Christian Watson, Z Knight, Jerick McKinnon, Chris Godwin, or Lockett. I'm going to go Keenan Allen and Christian Watson there for you, Nathan. Oscar, pick 2 running back. That's too much. You got to limit it for me, Oscar. We got a rapid fire here, or super chat, and I'll go through all of them. We might be able to I'll circle back to it if we have time. Aiyuk, Etienne, or Swift. I'm going to go Aiyuk for you, Sarah. Gino, Tannehill, or Rodgers. Pick 1. I'm going Gino. 1 Bitcoin if you answer Aiyuk or Foreman. I'm going Aiyuk. I had that question myself, and I'm going Aiyuk, baby. Everett or Freiermuth? I feel Everett right now with Freiermuth banged up. We got to track that practice schedule. Start 1. Okay, that makes more sense. Dylan, Swift, or White? I'm going to go Swift very slightly. That gives us some time to come back to you, Oscar, because we have another minute before kickoff. 2 running backs in a flex. I'm going Aaron Jones for sure. I'm going to go Ken Walker over the others. And then for the flex, I think I'm going to go Kirk. It comes down to Kirk or Walker. Kirk. So I'm going Jones and Walker for the running backs. I think I go Dobbins actually for the flex. So yeah, perfect. All righty, Wolfpack. Phew. Bring us right to kickoff. Awesome rapid fire. You guys were so generous tonight on your way out. That last thumbs up button. So many new names here at the end. Fatty and Gabriel and Oscar. Please do consider subscribing, helping us climb to that 3K goal. Maybe we'll hit it tonight. Who knows? But best of luck, Wolfpack. Enjoy the game tonight. I hope you get all you need. We'll be live streaming at 11 a.m. on Saturday. Saturday football's back, but even better, we'll be live in person. For those of you that can make it to Beverly, Massachusetts, Old Planners Brewing, come on down, meet the Wolf, watch some football, have some great beers. It's going to be a legendary day, some giveaways, some merch debuts. It's going to be awesome. We'll be live streaming too. For those of you that can't make it in person, we'll be live for you there. Best of luck, Wolfpack. Thanks again so much generous support, so many super chats tonight. So greatly appreciated. And one last plea, the thumbs up button and the subs are 2 free, easy ways that do genuinely help us out and help us continue to grow. We'll see, hopefully, many of you live on Saturday in person or on the stream. Until then, in a world full of fantasy sheep, be the Wolves, and check out rotostreetjournal.com for all our content, for all my rankings and all that good stuff. See you guys.